Hey everyone, I'm Patrick Jones. Welcome to episode 64 of That Gives Me Anxiety. I don't know if I sound like it or it's visible, but man, allergies attacking. My eyes are burning. No, just spotted the first alligator of the season. Surprising. I was just thinking that the other day. I turned the camera around, but I don't think you'd be able to see it that well. All right, the alligators are up. Let's go. Let's go do some stuff. No wonder I don't see those Canadian geese anymore. We'll go back up north. Oh yeah, my head just feels. I remember there was like an ad in the '90s for cold medicine or allergy medicine where it was just a person like holding their neck and their head turns into a balloon. I think that describes it pretty well. I even had to Google the allergies in the area. Right, you can get that weather report. Juniper. Apparently, that's high. I think cedar too. I have a very hard life. Okay. Last night was the Super Bowl. I've got my Jets hat on because this is the start. This is the beginning of the new season. Last season's over. Let's go. Who knows how the Jets will fail us this year? It could be any way. It could be a brand new way. It probably will be. But today, step one, hope restored. If you're not a sports fan, you're probably just like, man, this all sounds so pathetic. And it kind of is. No, sports are just fun. And it's not, I'll tell you what's not fun. How badly I need to find a treadmill after everything I ate during the Super Bowl. It's just an excuse to eat and go full American, right? That's what all of our holidays are. Stuff your fat American faces. Well, all right, I've got a great episode lined up for you today. Looking at public speaking from a different angle, I spoke with Urmi Hossain, who's got a lot going on in her life, both working professionally, and she also, I guess it's works with, or I don't know the proper way of saying it, but works with Toastmasters, right? This organization that helps people work on their public speaking. And I know I've interviewed someone in the past about who's a public speaking coach, but maybe this is a different way and a way that speaks to you, right? I like the idea of there being multiple ways to attack something you want to work on, because that's usually the case. And so if you don't want to hire a coach and you kind of just want to get up there and try it and be around other people who are nervous about it, right? There's a collectiveness that comes from everyone experiencing like a similar emotion like that. Maybe Toastmasters is for you. But before we start talking to Urmi, I just want to remind you that if you're liking the show, please remember to rate and review it, right? If you're listening on, let's say, Apple Podcasts, go in there, give it 5 stars. Way to go, Pat. Right on there. That really helped me out. You can check the show out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Check out all the memes. On YouTube, you're watching the video, you can see if my face looks like how my voice sounds, right? Just allergies attacking. Isn't juniper what's used to make gin? So am I just allergic to gin flowers? Oh, if that's wrong, people are just going to be laughing at how stupid I sound. If you're liking the show and you want to make a donation to it, you can also do that through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. And then there's my partnership with Pure Spectrum CBD, who offer the promo code AnxietyPod for 15% off your order. Like I've mentioned before, I use like 5 different products of theirs a day, from moisturizer to their CBD gummies to their salves, Salve, salve. Kind of like icy hot, but it makes you calmer and it doesn't make it hot. But yeah, check it out if you're interested. I fully recommend that company because I've loved everything that I've tried of theirs. So yeah, now I think it's a good time to go to Urmi. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy. Joining me now on the podcast, I have Urmi Hossain. Urmi, thank you so much for your time and thank you for coming on. We're going to be talking about public speaking here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So we connected over social media, and I'd love to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself a little bit to the listeners.
Yeah, so my name is Urmi Hossain.
Oh, sorry,
and
I messed it up. I'm so sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. I live in Montreal, Canada. I am a full-time employee in the financial services industry, but I am also a side hustler. So I would say I'm an author. I just published my first book. I also have a blog. I also have a YouTube channel. And I also like to do a lot of things when it comes to self-development. So one of the things that I love to do is work on my public speaking skills.
Mhm.
And in my free time, I also like to do a lot of volunteering activities to support causes such as women's empowerment. So I'm an advocate of that. And in my free time, I like to work out, read, and I am a big lover of Muay Thai. So I do practice Muay Thai when I have
Impressive. That's
this.
awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you. You got a lot going on. That's
Yes, I do.
yeah.
I do.
I always like and connect with people who have a lot of things going on outside of work. My theory on life is just that life is boring unless you fill it in, right? It's a blank canvas and it'll stay blank unless you add to it. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. I'm like that too.
Yeah, that's great. So talk to me a little bit about public speaking. You've described to me off the camera a little bit in our discussion about how you have improved your public speaking. What was the impetus for that? Like what got that started?
So basically, because I have an educational background in business, it was always required that we knew how to speak in front of a crowd.
Mhm.
And I remember I literally sucked at this. I remember going to my presentation and being super nervous. I was not sure what I was doing. I was not presenting properly. And I would see like people staring at me when I was presenting, and I knew that I wasn't doing a good job. And then what happened is I attended this workshop where they were talking about public speaking. They were talking about Toastmasters, and that's what like triggered my attention. So it happened that basically I joined this public speaking club back in 2015, but I did it solely for the sake of having something extra on my curriculum. I wasn't really looking forward to improve my public speaking skill. So I was part of this club for like 8 months, but I wasn't like, I was presenting, I was doing presentation, but I wasn't getting anything out of it. But then what happened is it's like you said, like after I started working, I just felt like something was missing. So back in 2019, I actually went back and I was like, you know what? I do have a goal in mind. And my goal was that I want to do a TED Talk. So I was like, if I want to do a TED Talk, I need to know how to speak. So
Yeah.
that's how I ended up back to Toastmasters. So I remember going there for the first time being a disaster, but I've been very committed. It's going to be pretty much 4 years that I'm part of this club. And I would say that I've seen tremendous growth in me just in the past 4 years because I've been so committed and I've been taking on different roles. And I'm also part of the executive team. So I am like the president of the club. So it just gives me also more things to work on, such as leadership skills. So yeah.
Man, you're very impressive. I mean, it's very easy to get discouraged, right? A lot of people, when they try a skill and they're not good at it immediately, they'll drop it, right? I mean, I'm impressed with your ability to be like, all right, we just need incremental growth over time. And if you do one thing slightly better, the next time you will get better at it. So that's impressive.
Yes, and actually that was the thing about me is that was the thing, like I went the first time and I was called to give a mini speech, and I remember I was terrified by the idea and I was like, I'm not doing this ever again. But I think what happened is after I gave that mini speech for 2 minutes, I was like, you know what? I actually feel good. Even though it was a disaster, I actually do feel good.
You
So
didn't
I went
die?
back. I
Yeah.
didn't die exactly. That was my biggest fear. I was like, I'm probably gonna die after this. I didn't die. And so I was like, no, I'm gonna be committed with this. I just have to keep going with it and keep moving forward with it. So when I went again the second time to this meeting, they called me again to speak, and I was like, why me again? And again, I was super nervous. So it always feels like it's the first time. But after speaking for like a couple of times, I actually realized that it was giving me a little bit of confidence.
Mhm.
And so I was like, you know what? I just have to be determined. I just have to think about my long-term goal, my end goal, and that's how I'm gonna keep pursuing this goal.
I love that. And so is is Toastmasters a club that's designed to just get a bunch of people together to improve their public speaking? That's what it is?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. So it's known worldwide. Everyone, like in every country, has a Toastmaster club, and every like a neighborhood has a Toastmaster club. And basically, it's a group of like people that get together like once a week, twice a week, depending on the frequency. And they get together, and you have people from like different industry, different educational background, different ethnicity, who basically just come there and they get together and they just practice like their public speaking skills. But there is actually like an agenda that you follow. So there are like a group of people that are organizing this. So you have like the VP of education, the VP of membership, the president, who actually work on the side to organize the agenda, to assign the roles. So every time you go to this meeting, these are like prepared meetings, so you know what you're going to do. And so you go there and you have a role, so you get to work on the different roles. So we do have like different roles, such as the grammarian, you have the general evaluator, you have the table topic session, and of course we have a portion for the guests. If we have guests that just want to have a taste of public speaking, we also make them talk so that they can see how, if they're good enough, if they need to work on their public speaking skills or not.
That's awesome, man. It's this is a very different approach. So I've covered public speaking on this podcast before, but it was with a woman named Rokita Johnson, who is a public speaking coach. And and this doesn't take anything away from what Rokita was saying. It's just a very different way of doing it. I kind of like the group sense, just for me personally, because it must be nice to be around other people. Like, everyone in their small moments is probably talking about how nervous they are, right? So there's that like group, like, hey, like, let's just get better at this together. I'm nervous and you're nervous.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is with Toastmaster, which is why I feel like they know how to make you feel like you are at home, and it's a very non-judgmental place. And what I love the most is that everyone is supporting, because everyone went through the same thing. Everyone was, they started from the bottom, and everyone didn't know how to speak in front of a club. So you have like people from different, who has different experience. And basically, so when you go there, you have people that are like, they're just newbies, and then you have those that have been there since ever, but they're there to literally support you. And you basically learn from observing each other and seeing how, they're performing their presentation. You learn by listening, you learn by watching other people. So that's how we are basically, that's how this club works. So you just learn by watching other people.
That's great. It reminds me a lot of I do improv and like improv comedy, and it's a very supportive environment. And yeah, we can. I remember what it was like when I was super nervous, and so when I see someone who's super nervous, I know what to say to them, right? Like and I'm speaking from experience that, hey, like, just, are you having fun? That's all that matters. Like, you'll get it, you'll figure it out. Like, it's just, you're doing fine. I was definitely very nervous, but yeah, I love supporting environment people can really grow. Can we talk? I know you've got a lot on your plate. You've got work, you've got friends, you've got family, pets, you've got the people that you make small talk with at the coffee shop or gym. You've got that bird that you see when you wake up every morning outside your window that you've projected things onto. Look at that bird. Doesn't even love its family. It's always by itself. You do that. Everyone does that. Point is, you've got a lot on your plate. Well, that's why there's Instacart, to take a little bit off your plate. Using Instacart, you search for all your favorite foods and things that you need from the grocery store, all online, all while you're looking at that bird, wondering why it hasn't called its mom. And they deliver it to you. They go to the store and do the shopping for you. And they can deliver it in as fast as an hour. And you can sign up by clicking the link in the description, wherever you're listening or watching. And that's a great way of supporting the show. So it's a great way of supporting this show. It's a great way to make your life a little bit easier, because we all know that you have so much going on, like wondering whether that bird judges you back. I'm curious about, you're much better at public speaking now. Do you remember what some of your bad habits back from the beginning, or some of the things that you needed to work on?
Yes, I do remember, and it's something that I heard I don't know how many times. So I do have a low voice, like my voice is not loud, I would say. So when I would speak, The problem was that people sitting on the back, they would not hear me. That was the biggest problem. And as much as I tried to like work on that, work with my diaphragm, it was so hard for me. It's like some people, they naturally have that skill, they have a loud voice, so they are able to
Yeah, that's
project their
me.
voice to the
Every work call, my
it-
fiance will come and close the door because I'm too loud in my office.
exactly. So mine is not like that. So it was something that I was persistently told. I was like, you have to work on this. Like you're not that loud. People cannot hear you. So I watched a couple of videos, but it's a lot of work if I have to tell the truth. Like working with your abs and with your diaphragm and knowing how to like project your voice to the back of the room, it's very, very hard, and it's something that I've been working on a lot, because at the end of the day, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's important that you have like a good like volume of your voice, and good vocal variety as well. That's very, very important, because that's what people hear. So that has been something that I really, really have been trying to work on. But the problem is that then we had the pandemic, so we didn't go anywhere. So we have been doing all these public speaking meetings online. So it's like I feel like I still haven't addressed this issue properly. So once we go back on site, then I will see if I did get better or not.
I'm sure you did. I mean, you're putting in all this time and energy. I'm sure you did for sure. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about, so someone will, they know what they're being asked to talk about or present, or there is an agenda for the meeting, but how does the feedback come in? Is it just everyone sitting around sort of says, hey, well, one good thing and one thing to work on kind of thing?
Yeah, so basically how the feedback works is that every time someone speaks, let's say you give a prepared speech where you have to like give a speech of between 5 to 7 minutes. After you have done the speech, each one of us receives like an evaluation form. So it's a very short form. It takes literally a minute or two to complete it. And you just have to say like what worked well, what didn't work well, and points of improvements. So you always receive a feedback from everyone every time you speak. And then we have another portion, which is called the table topic session, which consists of practicing your impromptu speeches. So basically, we have someone designated for that day who's going to ask you some question, and you have to give some impromptu speeches on the spot, and you'll be instantly evaluated by someone. So you really have to work on your active listening skills. So you
Mm.
listen to that person, you have to give an instant evaluation in 1 minute. So you have to tell them what went well, what didn't go well, and then you have to give a point of improvement. And then we have a portion which is called the general evaluation, where basically we have someone who gives an evaluation of the whole meeting and just says like what everyone did and how they performed. And this is how we learn. We learn by this constructive feedback that we receive throughout the meeting, basically. So it's pretty much like the feedback are pretty much done throughout the whole meeting, so that we can like take this feedback and incorporate them, and so that we can be better next time.
That's great. Yeah. Well, talk to me a little bit about your confidence level. I'm sure, when you're first getting up there, you're very anxious, right? This is a podcast about anxiety. What has helped? I mean, first, I want to hear what might have been going through your head the first couple of times you're standing up there, and then what has helped improve that?
Definitely the first couple of times I was super, super anxious. Like I cannot explain you how anxious I was about it. And every time I was speaking, I was like, why am I torturing myself with this? But then I still wanted to go forward with it. So I still did.
Good
I
for
would
you. You
feel,
feel alive when you do that.
yeah, exactly. So I was still like anxious, super nervous. Like I would tell people that, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. I'm probably gonna die after this. And I remembered my hands becoming like sweaty, and
Mhm.
like I would like shake a little bit. I would feel my heartbeat like going super fast.
Mhm.
And so I was very, very nervous. But I think the way I was able to handle this nervousness or this anxiety was just by going there and actually performing. Because I felt like that if I was never standing up and I was just sitting and watching people, I was never going to like face this fear.
Mhm.
So this is what kept me going. It was just the fact that every time there was a role to take, I would never like sit back and be like, no, no, I don't want to do it. I would actually say yes, even though inside I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing to myself?
Yeah, right.
But this
Your
is
brain
what
is arguing with your mouth, being like, why did we say yes to this?
yeah, exactly. But so even then I was like, you know what, if I want to deal with this fear, if I want to be like fearless when it comes to public speaking, I have to deal with that. And the only way to face it is really, if you face it, it's just going up there and speaking. And so this is what I did, and I feel like I'm glad that I did that, because it was only through time and through a lot of practice that I was able to like conquer the fear. Not
Mhm.
that now I'm not that fearful. I am still fearful when it comes to public speaking. I still do feel a little bit of anxiety, but I also feel very excited when it comes to like
Yeah.
that's this is the feeling that I'm getting now, that I'm like, oh yeah, we have to do like public speaking, something in public speaking. Yeah, I'm down for it. I'm the first one to raise my hand. And so, and I feel like it really helped me also to deal with other things in my personal life. Like even doing podcasts, it was something that I never saw myself doing. But now I get invited into different podcasts, and you need to know how to answer a question properly when you're doing podcast shows. So I feel like it has also helped me in that aspect of my life as well.
That's great. I'm so impressed with your ability to push through. Yeah, you beat me to my next question, which was like, how has working on public speaking affected your personal life? Right, let's say you're at a party where you don't know many people, or at your day job. I mean, has that improved? Are you able to speak up more in meetings, and has it carried over a bit?
Yeah, I would say that when it comes to like parties and stuff like that, I'm generally like a very extroverted person. So I don't get worried about that. But
Okay.
I do feel like it did help me when it comes to like my work, especially because I feel like it did help me to like speak up whenever I did not feel like something was right. So I think
Mhm.
that just by doing public speaking, it just gave me a little bit of more confidence of like standing up for myself and being an advocate for myself, which is what I have been doing since I've been working in the financial services industry. So it did help me in that sense as well. And so we had situation where like I had to speak up. I had to say things that I was not okay with that, with those things. And so I feel like I did have the courage to speak up, but I think it came from the fact that I kept going with the public speaking. So it did give
Mhm.
me that confidence to face these things that we have in our daily life.
Yeah, I love that. And that also, when you start standing up in meetings and pointing things out that are incorrect, people notice you more, and you get
Yeah.
thought of as a leader on your team, and that's how advancement comes. So that's such a great tool, and that's awesome that it's working for you there. One of life's mysteries is that birthdays always find me unprepared, catch me unprepared. I don't go on Facebook as much, so I don't notice them as much. But I want to express my love and appreciation for friends and family. That wasn't part of the copy. I'm just saying it. Year after year, month after month. Even when I see it coming, I'm not ready. Am I a jerk? Yes and no. Why do things have to be so black and white for you? But I've got great news, friends. Introducing monthly card subscriptions from the Cardist studio. Join the service that delivers the card and the stamp that you'll need to your door. No more errands. Who wants more errands? I don't know why, but I'm starting to think of errands as a kid's name. Errands, go back to bed. Okay, but here's how it works. You choose your categories, from birthdays and celebrations to love and encouragement, or select their full collections and have those thank you notes and just because cards at the ready. Those ones are always so nice. Like when you get a card for doing something and it's just like a small little heads up or token of appreciation, it genuinely makes you feel really good. And best of all, you would never get caught cardless again. Let me repeat. You'll never get caught cardless again. Try to say that a bunch of times in a row. You'll never get caught cardless again. Monthly card subscriptions from as little as $8 per month for the card and the stamp. Delivered to you. thecardiststudio.com shop subscriptions. And you can use the promo code AnxietyPod for 15% off your originating order. What would you
Yeah.
recommend to someone who either wants to do public speaking or is doing it and is just like terrified?
I think that the fear will always be there no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that there are like public speaking coach out there, a lot of them, but I think for me, I think the best way to start with public speaking is just by starting from like public speaking clubs like Toastmaster, because you get to meet people that are like you. So
Mm-hmm.
you feel like a little bit more included, you feel like less alone in this journey. So I always suggest people to start with those things. And what I like especially about the Toastmaster is that it's so highly recognized like worldwide, that when employers see it on your resume, or you tell them that, look, I go to the Toastmaster club, it just shows that you're someone who's like advocating for yourself, you're working on your public speaking, you're working to develop yourself. So it gives you like a little bit of an advantage, I would say. And so I remember, like, even when I went to the interviews, I would say this and people will look at me, wow, like, wow, you're doing all this and stuff like this, because people know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would suggest for anyone who wants to like start with public speaking, it's to start with like this type of groups. They are small groups. Like, there are groups that are like 20 people. There are those that have like, I don't know, 50. There are those that have only 10 people. You can start with those ones and see how you feel about it. You know, you want to see if you feel comfortable, and you have to start small. You have to start by taking small roles, and maybe it will be messy at the beginning, but then you will see the improvement. Like, when you see the improvement, you start feeling proud of yourself, and that,
Mm-hmm.
and you start like telling yourself, this is good that I did this, and you feel very happy about it. And then
It's
that's how
easier.
I feel about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it's
gets
like
easier.
working out. I mean,
Yeah.
when there's times that you haven't worked out in a while, and then getting started stinks and it hurts, right? But then when you see like, oh, I've like dropped a couple pounds, you're like, oh, okay, all
Yeah.
right, this is good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Helps
Yeah.
motivate
Exactly.
you. Yeah.
Exactly. That exactly. That's how I feel. It's that you feel motivated, and
Hmm.
you feel motivated, and you feel encouraged as well. So I think they both go hand in hand. But I think the thing about working in a small group is that all these people are there to support you, like literally. And this is what I think the foundation of Toastmaster is that it's a network of people that it's there to support you, and they want you like to transform yourself in a distinguished speaker, basically.
Hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. Tell me a little bit about your book.
So my book, I actually published this book 2 months ago. And
Congratulations.
thank you. And it was self-published. I never thought I was going to publish it, at least now, but I don't know. I woke up one day and I think I got inspired by this other girl. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna publish it on my own. I don't need anyone. So I read this book that says how to write a book in 30 days. And so then I was like, I read that book, and right away I went to write mine. And basically, in this book, I talk about how I found my identity, because I am a third culture kid. So I do have like two cultural background in me. So
Mhm.
sometimes I did struggle a little bit like fitting in both worlds. So I do talk about little episodes that happened to me when I was a kid. And so I was like, it was easy to write it because it's just about my own personal experience. And so after writing it, I contacted some people, like an editor on Fever. I asked her, like, please help me out to edit it, to format it. She was super helpful. And then after literally 30 days or 5 weeks, I published the book. So I was like, yeah.
Wow. That's so cool. I mean, that's another topic that I should do on this podcast. I mean, trying to get a sense of where you fit in when you have more than one culture, right? I'm
Mhm.
sure, I mean, I would imagine that would cause a lot of anxiety.
It does. And even writing the book itself was something that was not easy for me. There were voices in my head thinking, oh, it's not the time. How will people think of you? There's always this worries about what people will think, the judgment that comes from it. But I was like, I think if I do this, it will help someone. And for me, just writing the book itself was very therapeutic because it was like journaling, so I was sharing like a lot of things from my childhood. So it was therapeutic, and so it helped me a little bit, to deal with anxiety at the same time. And I would say it gave me also a lot of courage, because I think to talk about, like, your own childhood is not always easy.
Mm,
And but I knew that at the end, that whatever I was writing could be relatable for other people. So I was like, yeah, why
sure.
not? Yeah.
There's got to be, I mean, millions of people that can connect with that could benefit from that. So that's impressive. Yeah. So
Yeah.
how close do you think you're getting to getting that TED Talk going? I mean, your book subject sounds like a great TED Talk.
That is what I want to talk about in my TED Talk. So I keep telling I'm gonna do this TED Talk. I've been saying it for the past 4 years. To be honest, I don't know, but I'm hoping before I'm 35 years old. So I'm not gonna tell you how old I am right now, but
Okay.
before I'm 35, I'm hoping I have delivered this TED Talk, because it's there. It's been always there, and I always say to everyone, so that at least I manifested that, I'm gonna be
Mhm.
giving this TED Talk very soon.
Yeah. Well, I have an aunt that's been 35 for 25 years. So it's always, age is just a number. Yeah.
Age is just a number, yeah.
Well, I've really enjoyed this conversation. You have a lot going on, and it's very impressive, and it's very inspiring to see someone pushing themselves. I think it's so inspiring. I just want to make sure, is there anything you think I'm missing related to your improvement with public speaking, anxiety related to that, or anything else you'd like to share?
No, I think all I want to say is that when it comes to anxiety, it is something that will always be there, but there are things that we can do in our life to cope with it. And I think one of them is really just to follow what you like. And I think for me, doing public speaking, meeting people from different backgrounds was something that really helped me, and they really did make me feel comfortable. And also when it comes to anxiety, doing things like working out or journaling, that's a great way. I would say journaling is one thing that I actually started a couple of months ago, because I had like severe anxiety. And I would say that writing down all my thoughts really helped me, and it is a habit that I have adopted, because I think it's important to deal with these things, and there are very good benefits when it comes to journaling. So I would say like journaling, doing things that you love, working out.
All
So
good stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
Treating yourself well, it goes a long way for sure.
yes.
Yeah. Do you have any social media or anything like that you'd like to mention? You don't have to if that's not something you want to.
I do have plenty. So I
Okay.
do have I do have LinkedIn, so people can connect with me on LinkedIn. It's just my name, so Urmi Hossain. I also have a YouTube channel which is called Urmi Hossain. I have my blog which is called myways.ca. I do have an Instagram account as well, which is like a personal Instagram account, but anyone can follow me. It's called Urma Mio. And of course, if anyone wants to buy my book, it's available on Amazon.
Awesome. Well, such a pleasure chatting with you. And yeah, let's stay in touch.
Yes.
Yeah, after listening to Urmi, it makes me interested in Toastmasters. It sounds like such a great tool and organization, because everyone going there wants to get better, and even if they're further down the line, they know how you feel at this point, right? If you're a beginner, it's kind of an added bonus of improv for me, is that it's helped me with my public speaking. And hold that thought for the weird thing giving me anxiety this week. Before I get there, I want to remind you of my other podcast called Death Space Filling the Void. If you're liking the show and you want to make a donation, you can make a donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. Pure Spectrum, it's the CBD company that I've been partnered with. They have the promo code AnxietyPod for 15% off your order. Fully recommend all their products. I'm a huge fan, and I really think you will too. Instacart, if you want to sign up for home delivery for groceries, you can do that through the link in the description. Doing it that way tells Instacart that this show sent you, which also helps support the show. And then there's the Cardist Studio, who also offer the promo code AnxietyPod for 15% off your initial order. So yeah, weird thing that caused me anxiety or is causing me anxiety this week. So family's coming to visit, parents, both sisters, extremely excited about that. They haven't seen our house in Charleston. Can't wait. It's going to be a great time. But one of the things we're doing, I'm performing improv, and they're going to come to the show. And it's just like very different when you know someone, right? Because you're acting like a complete fool. You're losing yourself in the moment, and that's what makes it so fun. But people you know are there. It can take you out of it a little bit, right? Not that they're going to judge me or anything, but it's just something that I'm working through, and hopefully goes well. Because bad improv is, oh, it's the worst. Well, as always, thank you so much for listening. Thank you to Urmi. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you on Thursday.